So today we are going to discuss about the astringents. Astringents are the substances which are used locally, and astringents mainly responsible for protein precipitation. Protein precipitation. So what happened? Local action on the surface, that is takes place. Say for example, alum. We are using alum as a after lotion, after shaving lotion. So what happened when we are applying the after shaving? We are applying the after shaving as a alum. So what will happen? Alum precipitate out the proteins that is present on the skin surface, and it gives the astringent action and act as an protective. So antifungal, antimicrobial drugs agents will not be affected. Astringent also increase the membrane permeability. That may also reduce the membrane permeability. So membrane permeability also reduced by the astringents. What do you mean by membrane permeability? Membrane permeability means ability of the any drug, any substance to enter into the membrane or drug. Astringents, their use may be used as a protective layers, prevents the irritations, and controlling, can say control the bleeding, local hemostatic action, reduce inflammation, prevent exudation from the capillaries. So mainly thing is that the astringents reduce the sweetening, means antiperspirant action, reduce the sweetening. Okay, block sweat ducts, promote healing. So these are the actions of the astringents. What do you mean? Astringents mainly applied on the locally, and they may be responsible for protein precipitation, and you can say may not be enter into the cell. They will be retained on the cell surface, reduce the membrane permeability. So drug may not be enter into the cell via the membrane. So it may be used for various actions. Mainly it is used as a protective agents. It may be used to prevent irritations, may be used to control bleeding. In case of bleeding takes place, then some bleeding can be stopped. So after shaving lotion, we are using alum. So alum can stop the bleeding if small cuts there. Prevent exudations from capillaries, and also use as antiperspirant, or I can say sweetening part, also reduce. Adverse reactions, adverse effect. So astringents mainly they are irritant, and irritants. So when we are using the after lotion like alum, so our skin become, you can say, strain. Okay, so the irritations may be may leads, and the caustics means alkalinity. Alkalinity means alkaline nature can be given by caustics at the high dose only, cause redness, pain, and ulcerations. That are the side effects of the astringents. So astringents are the drugs which are used, which are applied locally, give the protein precipitations, and the precipitate actions. And astringents exert many actions like contractions of the you can say capillaries, wrinkle of the tissues, reduce the cell permeability. That I have told you that cell membrane permeability can be reduced. Constrict the blood, local blood vessels, constrictions on the blood vessels may take place, and inhibit the transcapillary movements of plasma protein. So use of the astringents. Astringents may be used to reduce the pain as anti-inflammatory agents. It arrests the hemorrhage, promote the healing of the wounds. Wounds means you can say if any cut or any accidental case that takes place, then bleeding then may takes place from our body, that is wound. Maybe the bacterial infections also. So that is the wound. And reduces the sweetening means antiperspirant. Okay, so that I discuss examples like zinc oxide, zinc sulfate, calamine, zinc chloride, potassium, and alum. I have discussed with you that aluminium sulfate and aluminium chloride and aluminium other aluminium salts. So these are all are the zinc sulfate, calamine, zinc chloride, potassium, and aluminium sulfate, alums. They all are act as astringents. Now other examples of astringents, one by one we are discussing here. Potassium, that is potash alum. Potash alum that I have discussed with you, that is KAL, potassium aluminium sulfate, that is potash alum. It is as astringent. Synonym, it is known as alum, aluminium potassium sulfate, and the alum, the potassium aluminium potassium sulfate. So it can be prepared by the reaction between potassium sulfate and aluminium sulfate. So what happened? Potassium alum we can obtain, precipitate it out. Okay. Now the property, the alum, colorless, transparent, and regular crystals, having the sweet astringent test, soluble in water, insoluble in alcohol, and it is when it is heated slowly, the water temperature, it melts into and water. You can say water of the crystallinity. So when if it is heated at 200 degrees centigrade temperature, it will lose the water of the crystallinity and become the anhydrous. So thing is that alum can absorb the water and can lose the water. Okay, so that is the property of the alum, potassium alum. Then identification test. Yes, identification test can be characterized by identifications of aluminium, identifications of potassium and sulfate. Then test for purity, that we can check it out, the arsenic, ferrous, heavy metals, zinc, and ammonium salts. It should be stored in well closed container because it can be alum can absorb the water, so it should be stored in well closed container. It can be used as antiseptic and astringents, antiseptic and astringents. Alum we are using as a after shaving lotion. And the protein precipitation property it has. Okay, so it can be used as in the preparation of toxoids. Students, toxoids we are using in case of you can say our immunity booster, you can like this vaccine and toxoids, antitoxin and toxoids also we are using. So that can be prepared by using the alum. Okay, so these are the use of potash alum. Like zinc, next is zinc sulfate. ZnSO4 is molecular chemical formula. Astringent can be used. It is, yes, it is called as white vitriol. Its name is very important. Zinc sulfate is called as white vitriol, zinc vitriol. There is the name. It can be prepared reaction between the zinc sulfate and oxygen. Zinc sulfate we can obtain. Zinc and sulfuric acid, then zinc sulfate we can obtain. So these are things. Then zincs we can treat zinc sulfate with the oxygen, then zinc with sulfuric acid. So there are two methods. And laboratory method we can say that zinc metals and zinc, metallic zinc we can treat it with sulfuric acid, we can obtain zinc sulfate. Now the property of zinc sulfate, you can say there's a colorless, transparent crystals, prism-like needle shape, and granulator and the crystalline powders. Colorless, metallic, astringent. It has means test. Yes, it is soluble in water and glycerin, insoluble in alcohol. And So these are the important things, and it's now zinc sulfate is now basic in nature. So identification can be done by zinc and sulfate, identification of zinc and sulfate. Purity can be checked it out by you can say test for acidity, aluminium, copper, magnesium, all that earth metals we can use. We should close in closed container. We should stop it. And usage, it can be used as external, you can say astringent as a powder, and zinc sulfate can be externally used as a emetic actions upon the emetic reflex. So that is the zinc sulfate that we have discussed. So astringent we have discussed. Next one, that poisons and antidotes. Poisons, as per WHO, what is the definition of poisons? Antidotes means definition of antidotes as per the WHO, and antidotes defined as therapeutic substance that can be used to counteract the toxic actions of specified toxins or xenobiotics. Okay, so these are the antidotes, with the agents which can be counteract to the poison. So that is the meaning of antidotes. Okay, and the poison, what do you mean the poison? Poisons are any chemical substance which can produce the adverse reactions, or you can say that is not useful for our body, that is called as the poison. So this is the things that we are discussing here. So what we have to do, that if we are emitting, means we can say any patients who taken the poisons within few minutes, then what we have to do, we can use gastric lavage or emetics, which can improve, you can say enhance the emetics, or you can say vomiting. So what happened, that the absorptions of poison should not be takes place. Okay, that should not be there. So that is takes place. That's active charcoal can be used from the mouth to GIT absorption. So active charcoal can be given for the absorptions of the poisons into the, that can, what happened, poisons can be retained in our stomach. Okay, so the mechanism actions of antidotes, look at here, that complex formations, metabolic conversions, and prevent the toxin metabolic formations, and by changing the physiochemical nature of toxins. So one by one we are discussing here. First is the chemical antidotes. Chemical antidotes means the drugs or substances which can counteract to the poisons by the chemical reactions, by the chemical counteractions, like sodium thiosulfate, and that can be counteract to the cyanide poisons, and also that iodate, that calcium iodate can be chelated to heavy metals. Okay, so that is the chemical antidotes. Physiological antidotes means that can the physiologically any substance can oppose the poisonous action, like sodium nitrite. Sodium nitrite is a physiological antidote, and that convert to the hemoglobin into the methemoglobin. So what will happen, that cyanide may not be bind to the hemoglobin. What happened, because of sodium nitrite will be converting hemoglobin to the methemoglobin. So hemoglobin may not be free to bind with the cyanide. So that is called as the physiological antidote. So physiologically hemoglobin is converted to the methemoglobin. So cyanide may not be bind with the hemoglobin, and may not be converted to cyanohemoglobin. So that is called as the physiological antidote. We have discussed the chemical antidote. That is the example is sodium thiosulfate, and physiological antidote, that is sodium nitrite. Okay, sodium nitrite for cyanide, again both are the cyanide, but one is the chemical antidote, another is the physiological antidote that we had discussed. Okay, so look at here that hemoglobin, that is nitrite we are using. So what happened, the methemoglobin that is formed, so cyanide can that is bind with the methemoglobin, so that these possibilities will reduced. Okay, and the cyanide that can say thiosulfate can prevent the binding of cyanide, so that is also excreted in urine, and both are, we have discussed, one is the physiological antidote and one is the chemical antidote. Mechanical antidotes, that like active charcoal that we are, if anybody ingested the toxins, then immediately we can give them active charcoal. So what happen, active charcoal can absorb the poisons on the surface. So can say poison may not be enter, may not be crossed, may not be reached into the systemic circulations and may not produce the side effects or toxic effects. Okay, so this is the classification that we have discussed, that antidotes can be classified as the physiological antidote, mechanical antidote, and chemical antidote that we had discussed. Physiological, you can say oppositions, mechanical oppositions, and chemical oppositions. Okay, for example, sodium nitrite, the physiological antidotes or antidote of cyanide, that maybe prevent the hemoglobin to convert into hemoglobins. Active charcoal is the mechanical antidote. So what happened? The poisons may not be may be absorbed on the surface of the active charcoal, so may not be close to the intestinal wall, may not be enter into the systemic circulations. Chemical antidotes like sodium thiosulfate, that can be changes the cyanide into the non-toxic thiocyanate. So non-toxic thiocyanate can be excreted in the urine. So both types of antidote that we have discussed: physiological antidote, chemical and mechanical antidote, and chemical antidote. Is very important tablet form, you can say, that you remember about, and antidotes that is important in pharmacy. Okay, so one by one we are discussing, that is sodium thiosulfate. Sodium thiosulfate chemical formula is Na2S2O3. It's an antidote. Okay, antidote for cyanide poisoning. Is another name is sodium thiosulfite. It can be prepared between reaction between the sodium carbonate, sulfur dioxide, and water. It can be converted into sodium bisulfite, and sodium bisulfite that can be react with the sodium carbonate, and that will be happen that we obtain the sodium sulfate. Sodium sulfate, next step, that react with the sulfur, and we can obtain the sodium thiosulfate. So these are the three steps. In the first step, what happen? Sodium carbonate will react with this SO2. Then sodium bisulfite will form. Sodium bisulfite will react with the sodium carbonate. Then sodium sulfide will form, and sodium sulfide will react with the sulfur, and it will be converted to the sodium thiosulfate. Okay, and another reaction that may be that sodium, you can say hydrogen sulfide, that hydrosulfide can be react with the sodium bisulfite, and we can obtain the sodium thiosulfate. So these are the two methods. One is the about 3 step, and this is the 1 step. Okay, the property is a coarse crystalline powder, odorless, colorless, and crystalline in taste, soluble in water, and practically insoluble in alcohol. And deliquescent means you can absorb the water, that I have discussed with you, and so it should not be open in the air. Okay, and identification, that can be identification test of sodium by performing identification test of thiosulfate. We can check in the purity by testing the heavy metal test, calcium, chloride, and sulfate test. Okay, assay method. Assay method means percentage purity. So assay method can be done by iodometry titrations. Iodometry titration means iodine can be reacted with the sodium thiosulfate, and that we can use as a starch as indicator. Okay, and we have to store in well closed container. Okay, we can use as a cyanide poisoning. Okay, we can use as a skin infections as a dermatophytosis. Another and last one, that is sodium nitrite. Sodium nitrite is NaNO2, and it is used as antidote of sodium the cyanide poisoning. Okay, so how we get prepare? The method of preparation by sodium carbonate, reaction between the sodium carbonate and sodium nitrite, nitrous oxide. So sodium carbonate and nitrous oxide will react together. In the presence of oxygen, we will obtain sodium nitrite. Another method, that sodium nitrate can be reacted with the metallic lead. So what will happen? It will be converted into PbO. Okay, and we will obtain the sodium nitrite. Third method, that sodium nitrite can be treated with the carbon, means reduction. So what happen? It may be reduced into the sodium nitrite. So there are the 3 methods. Okay, one, the sodium carbonate can be treated with the nitrous oxide. We can obtain sodium nitrite. Another method, that is sodium nitrite, can be treated with the lead. So what happens? We can obtain sodium nitrite, and sodium nitrate we treated with the carbon, so we can obtain sodium nitrites. Now the property. So white crystalline means a powder. Okay, and soluble in water, sparingly soluble in alcohol. Chemically, it is a reducing agents and get oxidized in acidic medium. Okay, it's a reducing agents, can be oxidized, and deliquescents can absorb the means water, and can say when if maybe it may be converted into nitrite when exposed to the air. So it should be keep in closed container. Okay, otherwise it may be converted into the nitrate. Okay, so that is the things. Okay, so it may be used as a antidote for cyanide poisonings, may be used as a vasodilators, and should be closed, is prevent in closed container. Last one, that is activated charcoal, that is carbon, decolorizing carbon, synonyms and adsorbent. Okay, activated charcoal and decolorizing charcoal, decolorizing carbon, and it's activated charcoal because of it is heated above 600 degree temperature. So what happen? Its absorptivity power may be increased. Property: it is a black color, granules and tasteless, odorless, insoluble in water and organic solvent as well. And mainly it is used to, you can say, as an adsorbent because of it can be absorbed many metallic things or any substances on their surface. Okay, and it can be used as an adsorbent, decolorizing agents, and can be used in poisoning case, heavy metal poisoning. So what happen? It can be absorbed, metals can be absorbed on the surface of the activity charcoal. So that is all. So next things we will discuss in the next class. So we had discussed today about astringents and antidotes. Okay, poisons and antidotes. So we will discuss in next class about